evening, everyone. Calling to order our meeting for Tuesday, September 11th, 2012. We will open with the invocation given by Commissioner Holberg, and the pledge will be led by Commissioner Morrow.
Please rise. Bow our heads, please. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented to us. Make our solutions fair and just in the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team. Work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. On this anniversary of 9/11, please join me in the salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under presentation of delegations, we would like to recognize Brian Haines with the GIS Department as the August 2012 Strongest Link Award recipient.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I get the distinct privilege this evening to have one of the folks that work for me was nominated and selected for Employee of the Month. Brian Haines has been with us for 10 years. He's been diligently working on all the databases. He creates all the shape files, and I know nobody knows what that means, but all the maps, all those type of activities that when y'all ask for certain information, it's at our fingertip. And so he's been working on several projects. He's also the keeper of the stormwater utility, looking at the ERUs, updating them, making sure that vacant properties get moved in and out, and accordingly. Brian works pretty good. He's one of those computer guys that you just don't never see until you need them. The best thing that I like, not only has it got customer service to the customer when they come through the door, him and Jeff work diligently. Jeff is the one that nominated him, and he provides excellent external customer service. But the most thing I'm proud of, a lot of times we have these little walls that we build up in departments, and if you're in business, you know what I'm talking about. And that's one of the things that Brian works hard at, is to try to provide good internal customer service with the fire department, the police department. And he had a nightmare with the police department, the OSSI, but they worked their way through it. But without further ado, and I know you don't want to listen to me anymore, but Brian Haines is a good employee. He's been here 10 years, and I think a lot of them, and he's good for the city of Griffin and what he does in the moving forward. So this month, it's Brian Haines as link in the chain. Oh, we got to do a picture. Here we go.
I think he overshadowed you.
Well, thank you for the nice comments first off, but it's always nice to get awards, especially from your peers. But as I always tell everybody, Jeff is my other half of the brain. So the things that I don't know in my office, he knows, and vice versa. So it's hard to go day to day and look so successful without having someone like him. Also, I like to give thanks to the many people that also help me with stormwater stuff. I'm in charge of the stormwater billing, but it takes more than one person to make all the adjustments that are necessary. There's numerous people in customer service and in the billing area that help us out. So I do appreciate all that. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Next, we'd like to recognize Eddie Bogan, certification manager, and the Griffin Police Department for achievement of the recertification of the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police State Certification Commission.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I didn't know Keller was that tall. Mr. Bogan has been our certification manager now for about 7 or 8 years. And this is our 4th award, which will take us through 2015 from the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police.
And just to read a little bit of what Mr. Mike Edwards, who's the Director of State Certification, sent and told us, he says, your agency is verifiably one of the top law enforcement agencies in Georgia. You can be proud of attaining the status of a state certified agency. Your agency is one of 100 agencies to achieve this status. State certification is only available to the agencies that have proven their commitment to excellence and professionalism. The standards you have met prove your commitment to your community, professionalism, and officer safety, and the plaque is a badge of honor that you have earned. And Mr. Bogan works on this diligently, daily, to get the information that he has to get from the rest of us to provide the documentation to show that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing and upholding the standards of not only state certification, but CALEA, which is the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, which is the national accreditation, and they will be here October the 28th to inspect his files for our third national accreditation. But I really appreciate what Mr. Bogan does, and I'm going to present him with the plaque that they sent us, and I would love for y'all to get his picture. He does a great job for us. Thank you.
Yes, I get to talk. I get to do a very short speech. I'm even shorter. I'm just going to keep this real short and sweet. I just took a few notes. Don't want to take too much of your time. Well, the benefits of their state certification is that the agency practices are consistent with progressive professional standards. It also provides a great operational and administrative effectiveness. It enhances the understanding of agency policies and procedures. It gives a greater public confidence in the agency, a greater governmental and community support, recognition in the field of outstanding achievements among other law enforcement agencies. And one which is probably very important to you is that it reduces liability potential. Because as long as the officers and the employees are following policies and procedures, they should be good. It's just that when they step outside of those rims, do they get in trouble? And we try to keep them within those confines. And as the chief said earlier, there's only about 100 agencies in the state of Georgia that has met or exceeded the state standards, and we're one of them. And you should stop and think about it. 159 counties, there's well over 1,300 law enforcement agencies in the state of Georgia. And we're one of those hundreds that achieve this standard. And this is, I think, about the 4th award for the agency, about my 3rd for the Griffin Police Department. And as the chief stated earlier, CALEA will be here at the end of October. And they got me on pins and needles, and yes, we will succeed in it. Thank you.
And now we want to review the financials for July 2012.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Good evening.
July is kind of like one of those first months into the year, so there's really not much to speak of at the moment. If you want to talk about the cash report, you'll have that in front of you, I believe. Are there any questions regarding that report? Hearing none. We'll move on to the local option sales tax and special purpose local option sales tax report. Shows $286,719 for the month of July, and that's about average for the collections. And then the final is the consolidated statement by fund. And if we have any questions about revenues or expenditures this year, last year, I'll field those.
I saw someone up in the magic room upstairs. Is that the auditors?
Yes, sir. And we are working on the RFP for audit services to rotate the auditors.
This wing down here is happy about that.
Any other questions?
That was a good report.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we'll move into citizen comments. At this time, the chairperson will open the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinions. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Is there anyone on my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Thank you. And under public hearings, receive comments to amend the City of Griffin Unified Development Code at Article 5, Section 504F, accessory uses and structures, temporary uses.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, Taurus Freeman, what you have before you is a copy of an ordinance to amend our UDC by including Section 504F, accessory use and structures for temporary uses. This portion of the ordinance was actually in the Code of Ordinances, and with the adoption of the Unified Development Code, it was accidentally left out. And at this time, we request that it be included in our Unified Development Code.
This is a...
Might add the same language that was in the form of zoning.
That is correct. This is the exact language, verbatim.
Through the process of adopting the UDC.
This is a public hearing.
One quick question. Mr. Freeman, the
Yes, sir.
section under temporary use permits, Section D talks about carnivals, fairs, circuses, events that happen at the, on the airport property at the Kiwanis Fairgrounds. Currently, I don't believe does that stuff have to have permits, and would this require those type of activities out there to have temporary use permits and things?
They would require temporary use permits.
It would be required?
Yes.
I think right now, mostly the city is doing most of the events out there when the fair is not here. They are going to have a chili cook-off. Will that come under this?
If it's sponsored by the city, no permit is needed. However, if it's a private individual or group, then they will need to receive a permit for that.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this issue? Thank you. Okay. Receive comments regarding a request to amend the official zoning map of the City of Griffin to reflect the updated zoning and overlay district within the city.
Madam Chair, the zoning map was originally, had not been adopted since March of 2009. What we have here with the adoption of our Unified Development Code, the map was officially adopted at that time, which was April 1st of 2012. This right here's map is just an updated copy which shows all the overlays on the map. Staff did not make any type of corrections to the map, and we will probably do so in the future if there's any type of discrepancies. But we did go through all our zoning cases for the past several years, dating back to 2009, to make sure that all the zonings were reflected on the map.
And again, there are no changes as far as any reclassification. No properties were changed. It was simply that when you adopted the UDC at the last meeting, February 1st meeting in March, it was effective as of April 1st. You also adopted the official zoning map as it stood. But that map with the overlays on top of the zones, the underlying districts with overlays on top, was basically illegible. looked at it. What Taurus has come up with is moving the overlays out to an inset to the side of the map, so that the map itself shows the underlying zones. It's really not an amendment of the map, it's really just a cleanup and I guess really more of a restatement of the map, which is more legible and usable.
One of the issues we've had in the city over the years is fumbles on the zoning map. And so it seems to me that we should have some formal period where we update this and not let it drag on. We don't have a lot of rezoning, but we have some. So wouldn't it be reasonable to have annual or semi-annual or some adoption of this?
Each time you have a application to reclassify a parcel of land on the map, you have an ordinance, and that ordinance instructs the zoning administrator to have the map amended. And under the Unified Development Code that you now adopted instead of a zoning ordinance, it's actually directive in there that each time the map is physically amended to reflect a change in zone, that the chairman and the city manager sign off and date that amended version. So theoretically, you should not have any fumbles. Now, I think what you refer to is, there might have been some bad zoning decisions made years ago, but properties were reclassified that probably shouldn't have been at the time we did a whole-scale rezoning.
So I'm familiar with that one. That wasn't a fumble, that was a fiasco.
Well, there was, in hindsight, it may have been.
Are we or are we not making an amendment to this map?
You're really not. The map itself is just being clarified. As I said, it's simply taking the overlay district off being, laid over the underlying districts, so that you can see clearly the underlying districts, and then the overlays are in that little offset to the side of it. You might not hold it up there if you got
When someone comes into our office and requests the zoning for a particular piece of property, if they're looking at the map, then the overlay district should be a reflection of that. So what we did was put the overlay districts on the map, so therefore there will be no question exactly what the underlying zoning is, as well as what the location of the overlay district. So it was just a clarification, administrative clarification on our part, to just make sure that they know what the property is, zoning classification is representing.
Okay. Well, I don't want to belabor this, but we went through here a series of revolving door of zoning administrators and managers and I had property personally as rezoned, and then I'd have to dig up the minutes to come down and prove
where it never got changed.
So my hope is we now have a systematic process where we're not going to fumble these.
Well, I think you've got that process as far as your ordinance, and you've got a zoning administrator who I think can handle it.
That's correct. What our department has done, we have ordered the Esri program, which is our GIS mapping program, and we will be stewards of the zoning map once that is installed onto our computers.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll move into our consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the workshop and the regular meeting if no one has any corrections.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the workshop and the meeting. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6, 0, 1. Okay.
You're right.
6, 0, 1.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the special call meeting on Tuesday, April 28th at 10 a.m.
Okay, I'll second that as well.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve the special call meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're moving to our regular agenda. Consider approval to amend the City of Griffin Unified Development Code at Article 5, Section 504.f, accessory uses and structures, temporary uses.
That's the one, the ordinance you have before you go.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the amendment as presented.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
In regards to the cost on the temporary use permit, what's, you normally $25 fee, or?
That is correct. That is correct, sir.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Okay. Next, consider approval of a request to amend the official zoning map of the city of Griffin to reflect the updated zoning and overlay districts within the city.
Can I get you to reword that, not to amend the map, but to restate the map?
All right, say that again, Drew.
Got to get you to reword that, be a motion to restate the map, not to amend the map.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the restatement of the official zoning map as presented.
Second.
To request to restate the map?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, consider approval of a request to amend the, consider approval, consider a professional service agreement between the City of Griffin and Geotechnical and Environmental Consultants Incorporated for environmental testing and site planning services for the old City Hall property located at 231 East Solomon Street.
Chair, I move that we approve.
That's it.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
I'd like to hear what Adam has to say.
Go ahead.
It's going to come down the pipe.
Hello, it's a long time coming. This is a contract to have a consultant come and do what's phase 1 and phase 2 environmental site assessments for the City Hall site. Because of its prior history as, I think a car dealership and of course the tanks that we had in the ground for fleet for fuel for our fleet vehicles, and not having a previous phase 1 that I can get my hands on, it is will make it much easier to sell this property or develop it if we have those things done ahead of time. So the developer would be assured that the site is clean and that we have clear history on who's on the site and what it's been. And this group will also have a local engineer replat the properties, because right now it's about 6 or 7 different properties. It's just cut up very weirdly. And with the bridge cutting off Slayton, that gives us a little more room to actually probably abandon some of that road and then bring the electric department property into the entire block there, and then just get a nice clean property, 1 or 2 lots.
Yeah, I spoke with Adam today at length about this, and I think one of the bids, I think this bid here was really good considering all of the things they have to do. I think we even had one bid of about $60,000.
Yeah, it was kind of all over the map. But this firm is experienced. They're local. They've done work for the city before. Well, local. They're in Macon, but we were very impressed with their proposal. And there were some lower bids that didn't include as much as this firm and had too many unknown costs. But these guys know what they're doing, and they'll be able to knock it out fairly quickly by the end of the year.
Okay. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
This will allow us to move ahead with the demolition of the building down there.
Correct. Part of this also will be asbestos surveys for the buildings because they are so old, asbestos lead-based paint. So that'll give us the knowledge of what's in the building, and then we'll get to be able to pick and choose which structures we go for demolition. And pointing out that the historic building on the corner of 6th and Solomon is not slated for demolition. That'll be rehabbed, but all the other ones that aren't in the historic district and then are more eyesores in that building will be leveled and allow that site to be more pad ready.
Thank you. I think.
Do we vote?
No, we haven't voted.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay. Consider awarding bid and construction agreement to McElroy Incorporated for the clearing and grading of the closed mining location at North 2nd Street in the amount of $37,000.
I move we approve, but I have a question.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
When I saw mining, what was mined there?
Dirt.
Oh, dirt.
The dirt mine.
Yeah, we had to borrow for it. Years ago, we didn't have access to red clay for doing construction projects, and we worked out an agreement with the church to mine that property at a time in the future to put it back in its condition and blue top the surface.
All right, well, there's no gold, it was just dirt mine.
Yes, sir.
Shucks.
Thank you.
Any gold was discovered, Brent took it all.
No.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider the purchase of a Carlson Super G Supervisor's GPS unit from Allen Precision Equipment Incorporated for the Stormwater Division in the amount of $8,790. Declaring surplus a GX 1230 GPS unit, serial number 451203, for trade into Allen Precision Equipment Incorporated.
Can we do this in one motion, declare surplus and do all in one? Then that's what I do. I move we declare the state equipment as surplus for trade and purchase the new equipment from the Carlson Super G as stated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Okay. Consider purchase of 5 additional new digital alley camera systems for police vehicles from Transcom Services, complete with installation in the amount of $15,125.
Does this complete them, Chief? I ask it every time.
Yes, you do. If you remember, what we did was we bought the 18 surplus Motorola systems from Harris County for $5,335. What we're doing is, those were old, and as we get our JAG grant money, which will purchase this 5 additional new cameras, we're using the JAG grant every year to buy new digital alley equipment. And as we can get rid of the Motorola, we're just trying to get by with the Motorola. Everybody has cameras at this point. And then we're still using parts off of the old Motorola's to keep them running. And Jack has done an excellent job with getting that over to the server here, so those pictures are downloaded from our department to the City Hall server room. So we're in good shape. We're just trying to stay in good shape.
What is a JAG grant?
Justice Administration or Justice Assistance grant, and we get it based on population and crime rate. We get about $1,000, give or take, and we split with the sheriff if he asks for his portion. So we get about $14,900 or something like that. I'm gonna have to make up a little difference, but
Right, but that's a fantastic, I mean, it's offset.
yes,
So
ma'am.
it's really only costing a little less than $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. Thank you, Frank.
Well, I move we approve the purchase.
I second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider purchase of 6 new Dodge Chargers police package vehicles from Aikens, Ford, Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, and government sales for the total price of $142,161.24. Equipment and installation from Transcom for the total of $29,574. Markings for 5 vehicles from Signcraft for the total of $1,750.
I move we approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider for approval purchase upgrade for police officers 100 Glock 4th generation 40 caliber pistols for $40,900, $409 each, from Ed's Public Safety Supply, and net zero cost to the city, and declare surplus 100 Glock pistols currently issued to the Griffin Police Department. Also declare surplus weapons that have been forfeited to the city of Griffin via court order, and have those weapons properly disposed of through trade.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. This is pretty slick that you get all new.
I didn't do this. Daryl Dix got this little deal together, and we had 3 people come and bid on a lot load of confiscated weapons that were signed over to us by court order, and this is 2003 through 2009. that those guns, and there's 209 of them, and they had to bid on the whole lot and give a price. And with the trade-in of the guns that we have issued to our officers and those confiscated guns, there will be no charge to us, and all our folks will get brand new 4th generation Glocks. And the guns we carry now are about 16 years old, and they're beginning to cost money to keep them repaired.
Right. You know, criminals aren't really smart, are they?
No, ma'am. I don't guess.
I mean, they're funding.
If they were, it would be harder than it is.
You're currently using 9mm?
No, sir, we have 40 caliber Glocks, but they were purchased long before my time, and they've been here about 16 years. And they're averaging, if we fix the things that are breaking on them, it's averaging about $160 a gun, so it's really getting time to get rid of them.
Well, this sounds like a great deal. Darrell deserves our credit on this one. Good job.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Consider for approval a 12-month extension to the current agreement for banking services with Branch Bank and Trust Company with revised fees in effect as of July 1st, 2012.
I move we approve.
Second.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of an authorization agreement naming MEAG Power as the city's agent to nominate and acquire any combination of resources to optimize the city's supplemental power supply requirements for calendar year 2013.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider a proposal from DeBoe to replace 2 customer service drive-through vacuum units for $23,344, authorizing transfer of $17,244 from scrap metal cash sales, aka CIB, electric capital improvement, and transfer of $6,100 from electric operating cash to the general fund totaling $23,344, and amend the budget accordingly.
Well, I assume these are shot. Is that?
Yes, sir. Not only are they shot, but the equipment is no longer supported by DeBoe. So we can't even get parts. We've been scavenging parts from one of the lanes now to keep at least 2 lanes up, two of the drive-through lanes and the push-out box operating. So this will give us that capacity. We'll have 3 traffic lanes. We'll just close the outside lane.
And we use these were ones the bank used?
Yes, ma'am.
So we didn't bring them from the old customer service?
No, these were here. The DeBoe no longer supports the equipment.
Gotcha.
It's too out of date. They don't have parts anymore.
I move we approve the proposal replacement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of an agreement to modify water sales agreement between the City of Griffin, County of Coweta, and Coweta Water and Sewer Authority, and a revised water sales agreement between the City of Griffin, the County of Coweta, and the Coweta County Water and Sewer Authority. Kenny, what is that?
You have 2 agreements before you tonight that were distributed to you last week with a memo from Smith.
True, would you talk into the microphone?
I'm trying to. It's not picking up very well, doesn't sound. You have the 2 agreements before you. One is a settlement agreement with Coweta County, County Water and Sewer Authority. The other is a revised water sales agreement, which will supersede the agreement that we've been operating under since 1999. Attached to the revised water sales agreement, you have 3 exhibits. Exhibit A is the rate formula. Exhibit B is an illustration of how the rate calculates. And Exhibit C is the revised minimum requirements or allocation chart through the life of the contract for 2049. Both the Coweta County Board of Commissioners, who met last week, and the Coweta County Water and Sewer Authority Board, which met this morning, have already reviewed and approved both agreements. So the ball passes back to you at this time.
Well, I would say that this is a much better finish to this than many of us feared. And I compliment Kenny and you, the others, for sticking with this to get a good agreement. This will help our other customers too, get this off our backs.
I think it'll be good for the benefit of the entire regional water system the City of Griffin operates, and I would certainly commend both the Coweta County Commission and their Water Authority Board, as well as the Water Authority's new attorneys. I think George Rosenzweig coming in and being willing to take a fresh look at this and work with us and realize it had to be a two-sided mutual understanding certainly facilitated this coming about.
Right. I'd like for the record to show, which it has not shown, that Coweta Water and Sewer Authority will pay us $9 million upon approval of this agreement. And we will also receive $171,331.95 true-up for minimum take or pay through June 30th, 2013. We will waive $58,000 plus in penalties from the authority's current bill. But the main thing is the public was not made aware that we will receive $9 million from the Coweta Water and Sewer Authority in order for this agreement to be effective.
And let me add to that $9 million will be used to finance two projects that we have planned for the very near future for the regional water system. That'll include the expansion of capacity at the Still Branch Water Treatment Plant. It'll also include the replacement of the Flint River Pumping Station, which serves our Heads Creek Reservoir and our Simmons Water Treatment Plant, as well as leaving some money left over for future projects.
Right.
And this opens the door for us refinancing, refunding the 2002 outstanding revenue bonds, which at your next meeting, we're going to have a workshop that morning and then have a bond resolution to present to you that night at your regular meeting. But this, as Dick alluded to a moment ago, this does a lot, not just for Coweta, but for all the wholesale customers of our system.
Thank you.
Well, it helps cut the cost of water, which we pass it on to Spalding County, so they'll be pleased to get whatever relief. So this is good.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Joanne. That $9 million keeps us from going to the bond market to fund these improvements, so that is a nice cash infusion.
Well, I think that most people think that they can be part of a system without any equity into it. And people don't do that. I mean, if someone wants a part or some of your business, they've got to come to the table with some money. They can't think that just because they're neighbors that they get it for free. And because of the expense we went to, the city of Griffin did, to build a reservoir. That was a big step for the future. And this relieves the financial cost of the 2002 bonds. It's a very big plus for our community.
So, Madam Chair, I'm happy to move we approve the agreement to the water sales, the agreement to modify a water sales agreement between the City of Griffin and Coweta, and the revised water sales agreement by the City of Griffin and Coweta. Second. Presented.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Okay, City Manager, do you have anything?
Pleased to announce to you guys and to the public that we received another Community Development Block Grant Award from the Department of Community Affairs, $500,000 again, and we will continue our water and sewer improvements on the north side of town. We're going into the west side of North Hill Street around the Alabama Boulevard, Realty Street area there with our continued water and sewer improvements with CDBG. 24 motorized carts are now registered in the city of Griffin. So we're slowly making improvements in our golf course. 24. Interesting.
One went riding down my street this afternoon. I was very envious. Of course, I don't know how they got it. That maybe they just made a quick cross on Maddox Road and didn't ride on Maddox Road. But I kind of think they went down Maddox Road too.
And I need a head count on our ECG tour for Friday the 28th. Ms. Todd responded she's going to be out of town, but Mr. Lucky needs a head count for lunch at the NACOM building on the 28th. If you can let me know as soon as possible, please.
Friday the 28th.
Friday the 28th at 11.
ECG tour.
Yeah, Electric City.
Yeah. All right, I'll have to let you know.
Okay, and that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. You have anything, Drew?
Nothing further.
Okay. You have a question?
Just want to say I'm proud to be a citizen of this city first and in this great country, United States of America. And just to see us overcome what happened in 9/11 it just shows the great country that we live in. And I'm just proud to be a citizen of this country.
Amen. Nicely stated.
Commissioner Morrow.
Don't forget the evening, the 24th, we'll have our sort of grand opening over at our new archive. And folks are handing me stuff. Historical documents are starting to appear. So my appeal is help us collect those, and we'll see you that evening at the new archive. I'm excited.
And what time did you say it was?
7 o'clock.
Okay.
The press is invited and encouraged to attend.
I do have that picture out. It's on my dining room table, so I need to get it over here. The one of the big towel, do you remember that, Doug? Dundee celebrating their 100th birthday or whatever.
And by the way, we'll be coming, I don't know when, for a slight budget amendment. We need, we've procured, I think, an extra computer that was not being used. We'll need a scanner and some paper and some basic supplies over there so we can start putting some of this material, getting it scanned, and people bring documents in, we can scan them and so on. So with the Commission's approval, we'll transfer a small amount of money over to that budget and for supplies we need. Won't be much.
Seeing revenue dash.
The only place we could find it was in our budget, so. I'm done, thank you.
Commissioner Hobart.
I want to commend staff on this water compromise that was worked out. I know that we spent many hours and many months and years dealing with this, and to reflect back where we're going with this, and look forward to our next goal is meeting with Mr. Brooks and the Water Authority, and us looking at getting a long-term water contract, hopefully before the current contract runs out. And finally, to echo on Shahir's comments about 911, I remember 11 years ago, it was 2001, it was election season for us, my brand new term of, running for my first term as a commissioner, and I remember that Saturday following 911, knocking on doors and just having this weird, eerie feeling about this country. And as I looked at the video today, it talked about terrorists wanted to take away this, hurt this country, but what it brought us was together as a country. United we stand, one nation under God. And we have our faith, our hope, and our love for our fellow man. And that period following 911 brought this country together, whether it were Democrats, Republicans, black, white, whatever it was. And I think people still long for that day when we all can come back together as one nation under God and continue to work together. So to our law enforcement, public safety officials, you work every day for us, and we thank you very much for what you do.
Ryan.
No, I just thank the staff too, because I was really impressed with what they brought back to us. I enjoyed, for some reason, reading the new water sale agreement, and and just thinking about how that was going to play out down the road, especially kind of our long-term views of all these projects that we're talking about. So I'm going to be real curious to see the order of things we're going to do now. Once we get the money, but I'm curious to see. I want to know that. I want to understand exactly how that is, so that we can understand what that implies for the rate and everything going forward. So thanks for all that hard work. Look forward to seeing more.
Commissioner Flowers.
Just thanks to everyone for checking to make sure that I hadn't broken my neck in the car accident. That was very nice of you all, and I liked everything. everything on the agenda today. It was just wonderful. And I don't want to comment on each one individually. The whole thing was great.
She likes spending money.
Hey, I mean, you got some stuff for free.
That's true. That's absolutely right. Again, I'm very pleased about getting the 2002 bonds paid off. I think my signature is on those bonds, and so that will really make me feel good. Then Drew can quit threatening me. He can quit threatening me.
Lower interest rate. Refinance.
That my name is there. So we live in a great city. We live in a great country. I was moving my mom on 9/11 in 2001 and into a senior living complex, and didn't know what was going on until about the middle of the day. And then that night I drove all the way home from Columbia, South Carolina to Griffin, and I was grateful for the radio because they played it over and over again, and it kept me awake. I still, when I got home, did not know the magnitude of it till I had seen it on television. It's still astounding, but we're strong. I saw an interview today with Amy Copeland on television, the young girl that lost her limbs to this bacteria, this flesh-eating bacteria. And, you know, giving up was never an option, she said. Giving up was never an option, and I think we ought to always remember that. So I'm grateful to be here. I will miss the last meeting of this month. My husband and I are taking a week's vacation, and unfortunately it comes at that particular time, but it's all set in stone and paid for. We're certainly not going to lose the money. So y'all behave.
And I too am excited about the Coweta agreement. Joanne's name was on the bond. Drew told me I had something to sign, and I'm kind of scared. But I will stay and sign it. But other than that, if there's nothing further, I'll accept and entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands.